What's up, y'all? Welcome back to the Fairly Decent podcast. I'm your host, Jason, and today we're going to talk a little bit about taking breaks and kind of what that means and why they're important, and the different kind of breaks that we can take. So at least for me, taking breaks is super important. Not only for like my physical health, but for my mental health and just the whole combination of, your own well-being. I can't stress enough how important taking breaks is, because, sometimes we get caught up in this like regiment or, super high focus for whatever we're working on. And, that's super important, obviously. We should all be working, towards something. But we can get so caught up sometimes that we kind of lose sight of, kind of what's going on around us and, how we're feeling on the inside and, just trying to keep up with this rat race and, just always staying on the grind. We've been conditioned, in our generation and this society that, time never stops. And there's always somebody working and you can fall behind really easily. And like I said, all of that is great. But for me, taking breaks has been super important. I recently just took a break, from the podcast and from everything for a couple weeks. And, that really helped me, I wouldn't say fall back in love. I've been in love with the podcast since day one. And I have y'all to thank for that. This whole thing has been such a blessing. And I wouldn't trade it for the world. But even with that being said, I kind of got burnt out because I was doing, so much content and like doing so much podcasting, what seemed like for months on an end. And I mean, I hadn't really missed an episode since, probably October-ish. November-ish, so through all of that, and then leading into, summer, we had Charged Up Fest. Yeah, don't even stop. Don't even stop. Just all kinds of shows going on. I had so many interviews with artists that I love and respect and people I want to bring on the platform. And then, we go into all of these trips. We had the soccer game and, we had the beach and we had, what we do last. We went to Pennsylvania last and, I was trying to find times before or in between all of these things, to just kind of hit the reset button. Because like I said, I wasn't getting burnt out, but I was definitely getting to a point where, it felt like a job. And I know that's going to come with, the growth of the podcast, and it's great. It's great problems to have. I'm not complaining by any means, but I still need to find time for myself. I still have a life to live. I still have, people that I care about, people I want to see, and people that are there for me. I want to also be there for them. So that's why I continue to preach that, taking breaks is vital, I think, to all of our success. If you can just go 100 miles a minute and never stop, that's great. But I think everybody gets to a point where you have to take a break at some point. You have to take a break. And I don't want to see anybody get burnt out in the things that they love doing. So I'm going to kind of go over, why these things are important. For me, obviously, coming off of a liver transplant, I was in the hospital for a very long time, as many of you know. And so I sat down for a very long time, and that was hard for me because I was never really the type to sit down, even though I always on the go. My mind is always, thinking about the next thing. And so in the hospital, I had a lot of time to sit down. And, so when it was time for me to get out of the hospital, my mindset was just going to smash the gas pedal as hard as I can and never stop. And, that worked for a lot of months. And, it got to a point where I wasn't really able to, continue doing it at the level that I want to, produce. And, it took a lot of talking with, my therapist and the people around me. So CJ was probably one of the first people that was like, you need to slow down. Like, all of this is coming so fast. Make sure take time for yourself. Make sure you take a break. So took that, as a real solid piece of advice. For me, taking a break was fully taking a break, just putting the podcast down for a couple weeks, let the clothing, ride out for a couple weeks, and kind of just put not everything on hold, but kind of just let stuff coast for a second. And when I came back, about a month ago, everything just felt so blessed and everything felt exactly where it needed to be. And so, yeah, like I said, I think the importance of taking breaks for most people is, just recharge the batteries. Sometimes it doesn't feel like we're tired. You may not feel exhausted, but are you really asking yourself, are you really dealing, with your everyday life? A lot of people suppress the things that are going on in their life with work, and me being one of those people for sure. It's okay to do that, but you have to, address life at some point. And I think, taking that break is your ability to kind of lay everything back out on the table and kind of deal with, some of the things that make you sad or upset or mad or happy. All of the emotions that we go through, you can't really process while you're going a million miles a minute. And so I think it's important for everybody to realize that if, you're working towards a major goal or, something big, you're going to have to take breaks along the way. It's the nature of the game. Everybody's different. So everybody's break may not be at the same time. You know what I mean? Some people can go for years and years without taking a break. And that's great. I just think, at some point in time, you have to allow yourself a break and allow yourself time to reflect on all of the things that have been happening, which is what it was for me. It was a break to kind of sit back and like kind of stand on the mountaintop that I've built at this point and kind of look down on some of the amazing things that I've built. And, that allowed me to reflect on, some of the things that made me super happy and some of the things that made me, not so happy. And, just life in general. I was just able to process life by taking a break, so I encourage everybody to, at some point, take a break just for your own mental health. Like I said, trying to process life as it's happening is kind of hard sometimes because we get lost in this translation of what we think success is. And, we don't really get to, face some of the demons or face some of the things that are going on, in day-to-day life. And it's not just a mental health thing. I think this thing is good for your physical health as well. Eating right, sleeping, just relaxing, all of that stuff in combination with, taking the right mental break, can really, push your success even further. At least for me, it has. It's definitely made the podcast better. The content is better. I feel better. I'm getting sleep. I'm getting better ideas, just by not always having the foot on the gas at all times. Now, by all means, I am not saying take a break. If you're in your stride, don't take any breaks. If you're in your stride, go for it. Go, go, go. But, if you find yourself, in a rut or in a hole or just, losing a little bit of the creativity or just not, feeling 100%, then yeah, I would suggest taking a break because you can't get success, properly without, being 100% and feeling 100%. I think everybody at 100% is going to give their best. I mean, that's just simple facts. Like when it comes to sleep schedule, a lot of my friends just operate off, 3-4 hours of sleep. And, that's great for the work ethic and all of that kind of stuff. But, you know, for me, I have to have sleep. I have to, be recharged. I have to be 100% every single time, I get in front of the camera, or every time I'm out interviewing somebody, or anytime I'm at a show or whatever. I like to be at 100%, so I can give my best effort. And I think it's only fair to, your friends, your fans, your family, everybody that's in your life. I think it's fair to, want to give them 100% all the time. And I think doing that comes with breaks. So this episode is a little bit on finding your stride, but also knowing when to, ease off the gas a little bit. Like I said, if you're in your stride, by all means, keep going, keep going, keep going. But if you find yourself thinking that you might need to take a break, then you probably need to take a break. I say that a lot. I mean, it doesn't have to be spelled out super fancy. Everybody should know their own body. Everybody should know their own mind. I think mental self-awareness and, physical self-awareness is super important, because it's not always going to take somebody to tell you that you need a break. You need to know for yourself what your limits are, and, when you just need to take a step back. And don't ever think, when you take that step back that, you're falling behind. No, it's actually making you stronger. It's actually, recharging your batteries so that the next run that you have, you can go even harder. You know what I mean? I don't think you need to look at it as quitting, because taking a break and quitting is not the same thing at all. I think, when we get caught up, like I said, in this translation of what we call success, it's easy to slip into this regiment of wake up, work, eat maybe, sleep maybe, get up, do it again. For me, that doesn't work. I need to, I need to eat right. I need to exercise. I need to, just be outside and get fresh air. I need sleep, all of these things. I need all of these things in my life in order to operate 100%. I encourage you to, go find what works for you in terms of breaks. And there's no set structure. There's no end all be all answer, to this question. But this episode is here to, encourage yourself to look in the mirror and, ask yourself, am I going too hard? Do I need to slow down and take a break? And, find a break that works for you. Like I said, everybody's different. But just use this episode as a little bit of advice to, sometimes slow down. It's okay to take breaks. It's okay to take time for yourself to get your mental right, to get your physical right, to get everything going at 100%, so that your next stride that you hit, you can go at it over 100%. Yeah, so like I said, I just encourage everybody to ask themselves that question, do I need a break? So to ask yourself if you're going too hard, or, if you need a break. And if you do need a break, that's okay. It's truly okay. You're not falling behind. You're not quitting. You're just taking a step back for a second and just recharging your batteries. Go do something outside. Go take a hike. Go to the beach. Go for a walk. Do whatever you have to do, to just take a mental break. It doesn't have to be days. It doesn't have to be weeks. It could be a couple hours. Whatever the case may be, everybody's different. But I do encourage everybody, listening and watching, to find their mental capacity to take a break and, deal with your thoughts and your feelings, and, so that you can keep everything clear in your mind, when you go in to tackle these projects or these goals that you're working on. So I'm gonna wrap it up here. Like I said, take a break. Everything is fine if you take a break. Recharge your batteries, get your mental health right. I'm going to see you all in the next one. Peace.